Welcome everybody. I am Lucille. For those of you who are new here, in this week's video, I am driving and contemplating life deep in thought as I travel through New Mexico and made my way to Ghost Ranch, where I had been wanting to go for several years, and I was finally getting the chance to make it there. Located just 14 miles west of Abiquiu, New Mexico, I got all checked in and set up in my spot where I would be for the next week and for what would be home in spot number 63 for the next few days. I had full hookups and amazing views. I had read so much of the history of this place and couldn't wait to start exploring, but my first stop was going to be the home of the Archuleta brothers. The Archuleta brothers had the ranch in the 1880s. They were bad cattle rustlers who used the ranch to hide their stolen livestock in a nearby box canyon. At the time, they named the ranch Rancho de los Brujos, or Ranch of the Witches, to deter people from coming around. They had built two homes on the ranch, but the spooky reputation, partly due to the brothers' activities, contributed to the eventual name of Ghost Ranch. This was the home where they both lived with their families. Half of it is on display for you to walk through all times of the day, and the other half is actually rented out for people to come and stay the night in. But these guys were bad. Anytime people came to retrieve their stolen livestock, they would be killed by these brothers, and eventually the oldest brother killed the youngest brother when he thought he was hiding money from him. Later, the oldest brother was also hung on the ranch when they found out what he had done. The tree that he was hung from sits right in front of this cottage. After the brothers died, the ranch was passed through many hands, but eventually would end up with the Presbyterian Church. The ranch also has this quaint little library where you can go and relax, and it is open 24/7. You can just sit in there and enjoy the books or check them out and take them with you. It is open 24/7 to the public, but if you are going to come and use these facilities, please don't destroy it and return any property that you borrow from them. Throughout the ranch, you will find all these decorative pieces of art that you can just sit and relax to enjoy the scenery, have a conversation with a friend, or sit and take a rest. This was my first day there when I was walking around just getting a lay of the ranch and just seeing what I wanted to set up for the next day. And lo and behold, I was walking down this path and saw this sign that said Labyrinth. So, of course, I had to go check it out. To the left here was what they call Kitchen Mesa, that large rock mountain. So, of course, I had to go see what was over here. And this is what I found. So it's the next morning, and I decided to go for a hike. I was going to check out the Chimney Rock Trail. I was a little apprehensive at first because I was on my own, and they mentioned that they had had mountain lion sightings. So, much to my surprise, there were a lot of people on the trail hiking that morning, so it made for a much more enjoyable day. I'll tell you what, I'm so glad there's other people out here with me, so I don't have to worry about fighting off the mountain lions if I come across any. It's a perfect day to be out here. So this hike is supposed to be 3 miles long, not too bad. They say it takes about an hour and a half to 2 hours round trip, but it's absolutely breathtaking. The views are amazing too. So here you have views of Chimney Rock, what they call the Piedra Lumbre Basin, and that flat mountaintop straight ahead. I believe that is Pedernal. That is Abiquiu Lake in the distance. And then you have Kitchen Mesa Mountain here. Isn't it beautiful? I can see why Georgia O'Keeffe was so inspired here. She was from back east, but she would summer here, and eventually she would move here and make this her permanent home. And she eventually passed away in Santa Fe when she was 99. But if you go back, just Google her and look at her artwork, and she'll see how she painted so much of this landscape. Okay, I'm taking a little breather here. So, what do you do if you encounter a mountain lion? This is what they say. So you definitely never want to run, because then they're going to think you want to play or that you're prey. You never crouch down. You never want to corner them. You want to give them room to get by. And if you can, they say to back away slowly, make noise, make yourself seem big. But again, don't run. And if they do start to attack, you need to fight back aggressively. They say just defend yourself any which way you can. So in this canyon right here at Ghost Ranch is where they found a lot of fossils of Silophysis dinosaurs. They were a small, fast, carnivorous dinosaur that lived approximately 196 million years ago. Fossils have been found primarily in the southwest United States, but with a large graveyard site that was discovered right here in this canyon at Ghost Ranch. I made it to the top. There's Abiquiu Lake. There's Ghost Ranch down below. Kitchen Mesa. And the rest of this glorious canyon. This is the back view of Chimney Rock. It looks quite different when you're kind of looking down on it. There's a big group making their way back down. Let's see, where are they? See if I can zoom in on them. Oh, there they go. Big group. That'll be me here in a minute. So it was really sweet. I just met a couple that met here at Ghost Ranch 50 years ago. They used to work at the ranch, and I was just taking pictures for them. This is their 50th wedding anniversary. So they were a really great couple. And they gave me a lot of great information of the area. So when I come back, because God willing, I will be back, I'll know more about where to go hike and some more of the secrets of the ranch. So it was really nice meeting them. Anyway, time to make my way back down. Part of the trail is going to be pretty shaded now that the sun is going over the mountain. So I want to get out of here before the sun goes down, even though it's early, but just in case. Hope you all enjoyed this little adventure I went on. Tomorrow's adventure is going to be the Georgia O Keefe landscape and wildflower tour, so I can't wait for that. Okay guys, I'm back at the ranch, and it took just about 2.5 hours. Well, hang on, let me see. 11:30, 12:30, 1:30. Yeah, 2.5 hours, which wasn't bad. And that was me stopping to take pictures and footage to make part of this video. So, so worth it. I hope you get the chance to come up here one day and just take your time. It's not a race. It's pretty amazing. Anyway, it's time for some lunch. Oh, and by the way, let me introduce you to my hiking partner for the day, Mr. Tarantula. It was mating season after all. So it's the next morning and the day of the tour, so I am walking down from the campground to the museum where we are meeting up with the group. It's going to be fun. It was a beautiful morning, and I was just enjoying the views before we loaded up on the little tour bus.
Our last location, I said she probably chose that section of hills because of the subtle triangle. And this is not subtle at all, is it? Quite a peaky triangle and some really sharp V's in the front. This O Keefe gets influenced by the artist Kandinsky. And Kandinsky believed that triangles and their inversion V's were the sacred geometry that God, that spirit, that the muse moved through.
A big thank you to our tour guide, Susan. She was really amazing and had a wealth of knowledge of this place.
They only want me to paint what they know. They don't love the hills the way that I love the hills. And by then, she's a wealthy woman, can kind of do what she likes. So she continues to produce her New Mexico work, even though it's not popular in the East for a very long time. And I would still hazard a guess that it's not nearly as well known in the East as her her New York work is. So she would do things like have like objects that she'd steal from people's houses, and then they'd steal it back, and then kind of trading things back and forth like that. I think some of them were just like kind of typical, leaving a water on the door or something like that. But I'm not exactly sure what every single one of them were. She was known as a vegetable giver, and she also locally, people who knew her well.
So the tour was absolutely wonderful. It was worth the $45. It ended up being for about an hour and a half. And now we have a break. I ran to the campground to have a sandwich, and now I'm waiting up here at the Welcome Center for the Ghost Ranch History Tour. That was only $5. One more tour to go, and then I am taking one more short hike before I leave tomorrow. I was supposed to stay until Friday, but the weather is supposed to be kind of iffy tomorrow, so there won't be much I can get done tomorrow, so I'm just going to head out. This is my view as I sit here at the Welcome Center and wait for the tour of the history of the ranch to start. These were some of the original bunkhouses that housed the guests when they came to visit, such as the Rockefellers, the Harvey family, and John Wayne, to name a few. So I'm on top of this mound here at the ranch with a not too shabby view behind me where the memorial of Arthur Pack is. So Arthur Newton Pack was the last known owner of the ranch, who eventually gave the property to the Presbyterian Church. The church was able to maintain the ranch from 1955 to 2017. At that point, it later transitioned to the National Ghost Ranch Foundation, a standalone nonprofit organization. Not a bad spot to have a memorial. And apparently he passed in 1975. I am pretty much hiked out. I've done close to 20 miles in the last week, so I think I'm done. But I have thoroughly enjoyed every single step I've taken out here in New Mexico. I will definitely be back whenever I get the chance. There is so much more to see in this area. I still have to go to Taos. I still need to go hike the Kitchen Mesa Mountain. But for now, it's time to go home, back to Arizona. I haven't been there in like 4 months, so I need to go check on things. I'll be there a couple of weeks, and then I will be heading to Mom's in California for a couple of weeks, and eventually making my way back south to Quartzsite for all the meetups and for the RTR. I'm hoping to get the same volunteer position that I had last year. So if you're going to the RTR, come say hi. Eventually, I hope to go to Tombstone and Bisbee and Patagonia Lake in southeastern Arizona. So thanks again for coming along. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. Take care. We will see you next time in next week's video. And thank you, New Mexico, for all your beauty and hospitality. See you next week. Bye, guys.